Hey friends, Susie here with Go Be Radiant. Thank you so much for joining me today on this beautiful day. I'm filming outside for the first time, and if you listen closely, you will hear an airplane overhead. You're probably going to hear another one in about a minute and a half, and you'll hear some birds chirping, and you might even hear the occasional car go by. Ah, the joys of being outside. I tell you, after a long winter, I don't mind at all, and I hope that you don't either. We have to enjoy this weather while we can. Well, I just wanted to bring you just a little devotional thought today, and it has to do with some little flowers that I've been seeing in my backyard and in my front yard and in other yards in my neighborhood. They're small and they're yellow, very bright, and they really add a beautiful pop of color. I hear that they're medicinal in nature too, and that they're even edible, and you can make all kinds of goodies out of them. However, they are also classified as a weed. Yeah, they're dandelions, if you haven't guessed. I don't know if you can see any behind me. It might be hard in the video, but if you look closely, there are little pops of dandelions all over the yard. And as I was looking at them and receiving them from my 2-year-old, who really likes to pick them and give them to me in a little dandelion bouquet, I was thinking about how they just have a tendency to multiply all over the yard. And I found out that these cute little flower weeds have a tendency to choke out, shall we say, the vegetation around them. And they do that by blocking the sunlight, and so the sunlight can't get to the vegetation around them. And I thought, oh my word, that's just like sin, isn't it? How sin has this way of looking beautiful, may even seem good for us, right? And yet, if we let it in, if we let it infiltrate the areas that we've so carefully tried to protect and keep looking how we intend and how they were planted, if we're not careful, they can infiltrate, and before long, they've overtaken. And that's a lot like sin. You know, every time we let a little sin in, it has a tendency to multiply, doesn't it? And it has a tendency to kind of choke out or block the SON light from the areas of our lives where we really need it. So that's just something to chew on for us this week. You know, my desire in this blog is that we would really reflect God's glory, and we would do that in our everyday lives. And sin is one thing that will shade that ability, that will hinder that ability to reflect that light, because it stands between us and our God. And thankfully, Jesus has paid the price for that. We are so grateful for that. But we have to be diligent about not letting sin take root in our lives. You know, much like dandelions, you can't just pluck them from the top. You have to get them from the root before they will go away. And sin is the same way. You can't just get rid of it on a surface level. You got to go deep and get rid of it. So if you live in an area where you see dandelions around you, I hope that every time you see one in the coming weeks, you'll think about this. And if there are any dandelions in your own life that you need to get rid of, whether or not you live in an area with dandelions, I hope that you'll think about that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and to all you moms out there, happy Mother's Day. I'll see you soon.